What up, YouTube, and welcome back to another review here at Opent. Thomas Opent. A lot of my non-Dutch viewers will always say Thomas Opent. So that's why I suddenly said it like that. But in any case, welcome back to another English review here. It's been a hot minute, more than a hot hour almost, since I did an English review. And this one is at the request of a good friend of mine, Saverio. Saverio is from Italy, and he absolutely adores a lot of the classic styles. And he requested if I would do one of the DochterVanDeKorenaar bieren that I got from Steven in English. Well, there were 6 beers in total, so I figured, why not? I can do that. I'd like to do more English reviews and I always forget to do them. I actually have several reviews where right the second before I start, I'm like, should I do this in English? And then I just go, whoosh, Dutch. In any case, what we have here is something that I think will be quite interesting. A couple months ago already, I got this wonderful set in a beautiful wooden box from Steven, Turtle for those who watch the channel frequently. And it contained 6 barrel-aged beers by DochterVanDeKorenaar, which is an amazing brewery. They do some great stuff. I sounded like Trump there for a second. And but they just make the most gorgeous ales. And what we have here, and I can't thank Steven enough for this, what we have here is a wheat wine. It is a Belgian-style wheat beer brewed with rosemary. And here we go, Saverio. It was aged on Brunello barrels for 2.5 years. So a wheat ale on Brunello. Brunello is it can be quite potent in the line of like a Barolo. It'll be slightly higher on the acidity, a little bit softer on the tannins usually. These are pretty potent red wines that will take a little while to age in. Vintages, when they're good, they're great. And I find it interesting that they decided to put a wheat ale with rosemary, although I can see the rosemary and the red wine combination, but put that on a barrel like that. So I am very, very intrigued. Ooh, that one is filled to the brim. That one is literally filled to here. The best buy date is basically right now, so I'm on the verge of when it's November 23. So this was probably bottled about 2 years ago. It doesn't actually say when it was bottled, but in any case. Oh, right, before I forget, Nouveau Riche Ville Fortune. Limited edition. Batch number 2018. This has 5 years on it? This has 5 years on it. Dear Lord. So by the way, the malt bill is interesting. It's barley malt, wheat malt, and buckwheat. Buckwheat has a tendency to give it a little bit of a nutty note. So I'm going to be very careful opening this because I wouldn't be surprised. No, it's not a gusher. I have some hashtag proper glassware for this, which is very exciting. Steven, again, I can't thank you enough for sending me this. And oh dear Lord. That has the look of a wheat ale, all right. That has the look of a wheat ale. It also has the look of slightly no, it's not too bad. Slight hashtag dirty glassware. There we go. That looks gorgeous. That has a golden hue to it like none other. A beautiful white head. That looks absolutely stunning. That looks absolutely delightful. The ABV is 6%, by the way. So that's why I chose. I'm going to do 2 big bottles today. In terms of reviewing, and I am doing that deliberately, so I just want to do 2 big bottles. One very low ABV, one high ABV, and that's it. That's my beer intake for today. I have a nice lazy Sunday, and I just really wanted something. The other one's going to be big and potent, and I wanted something that was hopefully going to be light and refreshing, but still impactful. Enough talking. Steven. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that I'm doing this one in English, but Saverio requested one, and I figured something aged on a classic Italian wine, Brunello. I thought he would enjoy that, so I'm going to do this one in English. Let's take a whiff of that nose, shall we? Oh, that rosemary is coming in perfectly. It gives it this amazing herbaceous warmth. And in the meantime, the wheat ale part of the show just makes it refreshing and delicate and floral and citrusy, fruity, but not fruity like an IPA, but just like fruity, like citrusy, something like there's almost like a sort of sweet red apple thing going on. There's a big hit of red fruit. There is an amazing from that Brunello. So like that, think like your red berries, blackberries. Think like your ripe cherry, strawberry components. Big on that red fruit thing. It has a slight tannic note on the nose. Nothing so much in terms of acidity, but that will probably really be in the wine itself. If the wine has an acidic note, it won't really shine through. But that tannic thing is coming through. I'm definitely getting that slightly. Nothing too potent or rich, but it has a soft tannic note. Definitely slightly oaky, and all of that. And that is why I think it's great that there's a logic to the madness here. Some people would say a 6% wheat ale on something like a Brunello, but it works because you get the base beer, which is fruity and fresh and light and delicate. And if you age it well enough, and you can give it some time, what you get after 2.5 years is this amazing layer of that red fruit component, as we talked about, and the herbaceousness from the rosemary is in terms of that warming sense of it is absolutely great. So it makes it both a very crushable, quaffable almost, in terms of the nose anyway, a beer, but also something very delicate and complex, which is something that the DochterVanDeKorenaar can do amazingly well. You really still are getting that wheat character. The buckwheat, I'm not getting so much of it at the moment. We don't really know what that's going to do while we progress with the beer. But first glance, amazing. Almost like I can see this as like a late. Well, it is late autumn. It is November basically. We're 2-3 days from November, and sometimes you can still get those like sort of cozy, late, soft, warm, but you have to put a sweater on, kind of like dry afternoons where you can sit outside with a campfire, and something like this would be absolutely stunning, I think. Yeah, that's delightful. I'm gonna have to dive in, guys. Again, Steven, thank you so much for this. I can't. Words fail me. Words fail me, buddy. Thank you. Cheers. So there actually is a slight. This is wonderful. So there is a slight acidic tart note that you get from both the wheat and the wine. It is definitely vinous. It is definitely red wine barrel aged. You get that tannic. Oh, the finish is filled with that tannic. There's almost like that leathery tannic thing going on. And then it evolves into a fantastic bitterness from the beer. The bitterness from the rosemary, woody herbs have this sort of bitterness that they can impart in a good way. The rosemary itself, the all of the red fruits, they're all in there. The oak, but still that refreshing character from a wheat ale. I will admit that even though you get the wheat ale, it brings something to the table. The barrel might be slightly overpowering. I can't help but wonder if this spent a little bit too long in wood. But having said that, it is absolutely. It is. How can you make something that is both delicate, refreshing, complex, but also bold and impactful? And it is all of that. It is rather quite. Oh. You still get that soft floral note, that soft floral thing, and that slight sort of citrus fruit, red apple thing. Gorgeous bitterness, soft, acid, tannic notes. How? And herbaceous, warming. And then you get the cherries again, and then there's that red fruit component doing its thing. I'll bet you right now, if I go to Untapped, people who think barrel aged, they're gonna go like, oh, it's barrel aged. You know, they'll think about like pastry stouts that have aged on bourbon for like 11 to 15, 16 months, and or peated barrels or whatever. These big, huge things just filled with rich dark chocolate and whatever. And they'll try this, and they're gonna think like, this is not barrel aged. I don't like this. This is. Well, I'm gonna be brutally fucking honest here, and I've said things like this so much over the channel. They're confused because they're drinking beer, actual beer, you know, not pastry bullshit, but actual beer. And it's been aged on an impressive barrel, a great red wine, which they also won't understand, and then just sitting there complaining like little babies, going like, this isn't what I like, and they're gonna give it like a 3. They're gonna go like, yeah, I can drink this, but it's not good. But this is fucking amazing. This is when you know when a brewery understands beer. But the person in charge of the barrel program, and I don't know who that exactly is there. I don't know if it's the brewer itself, but let's just say the brewery, when they understand flavor, they understand what works well together. And it takes a certain level of madman, like a mad genius, like a mad professor, to put these things together and realize that it works. There was a method to that madness. This is stunning. This is the stuff that I like. This is real beer. En Steven, I'm gonna go Dutch for a little bit. Sorry, Saverio. Steven, gewoon even dat je het weet. Dit is echt geniaal goed. Ik hoop dat je een beetje wat hebt meegekregen van de review. Als je vragen hebt, stuur me maar even een DM'tje via Messenger. Dan kletsen we even. Maar dit jongen, echt mind blown. Echt ongelooflijk goed. Ik ben zo onder de indruk van wat ik hier in mijn glas heb nu. Ik ben echt sprakeloos. En ik weet niet wat ik zeggen moet. Behalve dan dat ik het zo ongelooflijk lekker vind. Zo goed gebrouwen. En dat ik echt ontzettend nederig voel dat je mij dit gestuurd hebt. Het hele pakket sowieso, maar ook dit, weet je, dit weer. Dankjewel. Dankjewel, Steven. Echt. Back to the English part of this. So, long story short, an absolute stunning barrel-aged beer, aged on a fantastic wine barrel that just works. It shouldn't work. When you read what it is, it shouldn't work, but it does, and it is more than the sum of its parts. The whole is more than the sum of its parts. It is absolutely delightful. I'm gonna have a great afternoon, chilling on the couch, watching some shows or movies or whatever, and enjoying this. Thank you, Steven. Severio, I hope you're happy you got your English review of a DochterVanDeKorenaar beer. And that's it for this review. If you like it, hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. In the comment section below, not a comment, in the description box below, I'll put some links to my social media, a link to the Dutch Beer Collective, and a link to mysterybeer.nl. Leave some comments. I always really appreciate comments, and I'll see all of you guys in another review soon. Cheers.